Hello, it's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ, and let me introduce you to my co hosts. We have Shelly E., Yana, and Colleen. Tonight, we are also joined by special guest Ryan. He is a man who dresses up to defy the leftist narrative. He is also known by most as Lady MAGA. Lady MAGA. So Ryan is a conservative activist, and as I mentioned, he is also part of the LGBTQ community. So we're going to bring him on in just a moment. But as I always say to you guys, join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. We will check the comments periodically throughout the show. And don't just comment, subscribe. Subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content.
What's up? Oh my gosh. You know what, KJ? I feel so bad that you had to introduce me as a member of the LGBTQ community. Let me tell you why. You never have to say that again. First of all, a gay person like me who likes to dress up, little feather boa, little makeup, little wig, I have nothing to do with the radical trans agenda. You know, Bruce Jenner, as far as I know, is still attracted to women, which means he's a heterosexual man who identifies as a woman. What does that have to do with me? And Q, LGBTQ, Q means two things, questioning or queer. Number one, everybody in America has had their moment where they had a crush on Halle Berry, or they had a crush on Will Smith, or they had a crush on, Kevin Costner. And they're like, oh my gosh, I might be a little gay. So they are recruiting people with the letter Q. Q means nothing. Questioning does not mean you are part of this LGBTQ movement. And then the other definition is queer. What does queer mean? It means
Ryan,
nothing. Yeah.
I want to cut in before you go on because I had a question.
Yeah, of course.
I had a question about the LGBTQ agenda.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it mean?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked that. And I'm glad that I have done thousands of interviews to talk about this. The gay agenda is of the past. Gay people wanted to not be put in jail. Gay people wanted to live their life, have a nice yard with a garden, own their bakery, and be interior decorators who made everybody happy. Lesbians just wanted to live in a rural community, have a Subaru Outback, wear flannel, and live their lives. Literally. Now, the LGBTQ agenda, let me try and define this very clearly. The LGBTQ agenda is not about tolerance. It is not about integration. It is not about respect. It is not about diversity. It is about cultural and political dominance. And what do I mean by that? It means that if you are a Mormon or you're a Christian and you believe that homosexuality is a sin, somebody like me is going to say, God bless you. Your personal spiritual journey is none of my business. There's freedom for you. There's freedom for me. Let's go. But the modern LGBTQIA plus agenda wants to make it illegal for people to hold on to their Christian beliefs that include that homosexuality is wrong. The modern LGBTQIA plus agenda is not about inclusion. It is about dominance of your very vocabulary. They have made it clear that a woman does not exist. They have made it clear that male, female biology is politically incorrect. And they are attacking the very foundations of our American culture. And I'm the first to admit, gay people, I don't know why I'm gay. I don't know why our community is there. We're an anomaly. We are a minority. So why should the views of a tiny fraction of America dominate the lives, culture, entertainment, and religions of the masses? So
now, let me ask you, let me ask you something there, because I want to, so the audience knows, you've already talked about your views, so it's very clear there.
Yeah.
But I want people to find, how did you become, so you're on the conservative side. Are you Republican, or are you on the right?
Can I admit this
Mhm.
in public? I am a Republican out of necessity in order to be effective. But at heart, I am an independent, and I align more with a libertarian view, like gay marriage.
Okay.
Government should have nothing to do with marriage. But my mom, God rest her soul, she said it is just as important to be effective as it is to be right. And right now, we got to work with the Republican Party. Even though the Republican Party, as far as I'm concerned, is disgusting, they are spineless, they cave to the left, and our Mormon conservative Republican governor just vetoed the bill to protect girls' sports. And you got a gay drag queen at Capitol Hill in Utah standing up for women's sports, and my Republican governor vetoed the bill. That says everything. So right now, I identify as Republican because I'm hoping that as Republicans, we can reclaim the party. Hopefully, Trump is going to be back on Twitter thanks to Elon Musk. But yeah, I identify as a Republican out of necessity, not out of desire, if that makes sense.
So if we listen to mainstream media, LGBTQ and conservative are supposed to be on opposite ends of the political spectrum. So can you talk about your conservative journey and experience as a gay Republican? How have you been received? And how did you get there? How did you get here?
Oh my goodness. I was raised by some good old fashioned Mormon conservative people. I'm an Eagle Scout. I went on a Mormon mission to France for 2 years. I was raised to be fiscally conservative, even socially conservative. And I tried my darndest to, go to conversion therapy, hopefully marry a woman. But I realized that the greater sin is telling a woman, you should marry me for religious reasons, but I'm never going to want to touch your melons. That's unfair. So I walked away from the Mormon church, and then I fell right into the LGBT narrative. I thought that I was on the gay side. I was on the, side of tolerance and everything. And I considered myself part of that community until Milo Yiannopoulos and Donald Trump and Alex Jones. I don't care if you like Alex, I love Alex. So listening to their programs, I had an awakening and I realized, holy cow, my sexual identity, my identity as a gay man does not matter to me as much as my identity as a hardworking, America loving patriot. And so my last years as a mainstream drag queen, I was a Britney Spears impersonator. People would hire me for events. I would do, work bitch, circus. I had a great time. But as I went along with my drag career, I realized I do not fit in with these people because when Trump was elected, they would choose to get on the stage and badmouth our patriotic president. They would get on the stage and tell lies. And I noticed suddenly drag queens weren't drag queens. Because what's the definition of a drag queen? A man who dresses up as a woman, female character, to make people laugh and have a good time and put on a show. But the LGBTQIA plus movement has taken the drag movement and somehow politicized it, and they're using it to push castration, hormones, mutilation, and drugs on children. And that's when I really just said, you know what? Goodbye. And the Republic, I've been to, I can't even count how many Trump rallies and conservative events across this country.
So let me ask you now that we're going to talk about you going into like MAGA rallies and stuff like that. So let me ask you, because it's no secret that there is some anti-LGBT sentiment in the conservative movement sometimes. And Bryson Gray as somebody that I like, but
I love him too.
Has some lyrics sometimes. I think we have a clip actually, so if we want to pull that up.
Yeah, I'm ready to dance.
Okay.
That's why pedophilia rising, but that's what happens when you give an inch to the gays, promoting sin instead of telling them they should change the ways. They make you wear a mask, you comply, that remind me of slaves. Got my order wrong at McDonald's, thinking you need a raise. I'm about to break the meter.
Oh, I love that song, but anyways, so that being said, so like when you hear lyrics like that, like what are your thoughts?
You know, honestly, those lyrics are talking about the predatory, radical, communist, America-hating people who have taken over the identity of gay people and common sense gay Americans. So I forgive him 100% because I could write the same song about the drag queens promoting the castration of kids, promoting hormone injections, trying to erase pronouns, the same people telling Disney that they cannot say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm the biggest Disney fan. The most magical moment is before the fireworks when they say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the fireworks spectacular of Disney magic will commence in 10 minutes. They don't even say that anymore.
That is so sad. Yeah.
Oh, it breaks my heart.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, yeah, it's really great to see you. I've been following you, I think, I don't know, for a few years now. And you did a great job supporting President Trump. I think you have gone to the Stop the Steal rallies.
All of them. And that's why I got kicked off of Instagram. Stop the Steal in Carson City, Nevada. I got in my car, I drove, I had a Stop the Steal sign, and that was when Instagram kicked me off.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're in DC area. I was living in DC, so I was there on all of them as well. So too bad I didn't see. I mean, I saw your friend, like also the dressed up. There was a lady that was dressed up in the like a kind of like a MAGA outfit, like a dress.
A woman, like a real woman.
Yeah, a real woman. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The other drag queens, I love them. There's a few conservative drag queens, but I'm the only one who has dedicated my life to this and shown up to every event, even though it's exhausting. I want people to know that Some Like It Hot, Mrs. Doubtfire, like drag is supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be entertainment. It is not supposed to be about indoctrinating preschoolers.
And I'm glad that you mentioned actually about communism, because that's something that I bring up a lot. That I'm really anti-Marxism, because Marxism destroyed the country where I was born. I mean, it's recovering now. I was born in Russia, but it's been really like, you know, that's the worst thing that happened to that country is communism. So, and it's been brought here. So my question to you, what is, and you mentioned something about like American culture. So what is American culture, and what is your vision for America in terms of what kind of leader we should have? Like, what about foreign policy? How do you think the world should view America?
Wow.
Ideally.
I mean, that is a very big question. But if I had to define American culture, this might sound weird coming from a homosexual drag queen, and I don't want to offend all the gays or whoever, but American culture is rooted in a deep faith in God. And whether or not you believe in Jesus Christ, where is it? Right there. There's Jesus Christ. Jesus is over all of us. I am a Christian. I don't care if I sound like a Jesus freak. You want to know my very first drag performance? So it was my very first time ever putting on a wig. I was sad. I went to this little amateur night, and my performance was To Jesus Take the Wheel by Carrie Underwood.
Oh, wow.
And I had people waving their hands, and I was sobbing because you know what? I don't understand homosexuality. We are all sinners. I don't understand it, but I do know that the love of Jesus Christ is bigger than all of this. So you asked me to define American culture. Number one, American culture is founded on the individual and individual liberties, not the community. not what is best for all, because those are communist ideals. And as we have seen with the mask mandates, if you don't wear a mask, you are selfish because you don't care about the community. So that would be my first definition. I'm sure you've all heard of Ayn Rand. She wrote Atlas Shrugged, The Fountainhead, the power of selfishness, in the sense that the individual is the core, and the smallest minority in this country is the individual. So I would say we're founded on individual rights. Number two, we're founded on faith in God, not faith in government. And the Democrats and the left and the LGBTQIA plus community, they are putting their faith in government and in flawed earthly people like Barack Hussein Obama and Joe Biden. Our faith is in God. We have inalienable rights that come from God. So that's number two. And number three, the family. And gay people exist. We need the right to live as we see.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Please don't let me break up. Am I back?
Oh, there it is. You're back there now. Can you hear us?
Okay. So,
oops. Is it my internet? Or do you guys, is he breaking up for you?
Yeah, I think we're losing him.
Okay. Well, while he gets back in, I want to go to some of the comments we have here. Wow, that was, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, we certainly don't hear this type of commentary from the LGBT community on the left. None of that. What are you guys' just response to some of the things? Oh, there you are. Is he back? Can you hear us? Okay, I think there's a slight lag.
I'm so sorry. I'm in my new apartment.
Oh, okay.
So what I was saying is.
Oh, you're still breaking up there just a little bit.
You there?
Yeah, we can kind of now.
Let me see.
You guys, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. Might take a little. It was going well in a few minutes.
Maybe he needs to maybe reboot.
Okay, Ryan, it looks like you're kind of moving now. It looks better now. I think you're okay.
Well, I want to say.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Everything I have said, I've basically summarized where I stand. So if my internet cuts out or I get cut off, talk about it. Because all I ask, I want to live my life. I want to date who I want to date. I want to put on a wig and makeup. But my freedom should never erase the ideal of the traditional family. And I'm the first to say that the ideal for a child is a mother and a father. That being said, if you got a crack baby and the only option is a nice lesbian couple or a good monogamous gay couple, I'm down with that. But I'm not here to pretend that my views and my way of life and my homosexuality or even my desire to be a drag queen is in any way, shape, or form the norm or what should be promoted. And that's where I understand people like Bryson Gray, because the traditional family is under attack. The white family is under attack. The heterosexual alpha men like Bryson in our culture are being attacked.
No, you're breaking up there a little bit.
I totally 100% understand, the fear and the hatred against somebody like me, but I wish Bryson Gray would spend his time going after the drag queens.
No, Ryan, you're breaking up a little bit. I
there?
don't know if, yes, I'm here. I can hear you. I don't know if,
yes, no, yes, no.
Oh, can you hear us?
Damn.
We may have I think we've lost him. Okay. Well, wow. So, I want to get you guys' thoughts on what he said. It's just an open forum here. What are your thoughts? Oh, there he is. Ryan? I think the connection is bad.
I'm just typing to you guys right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I'm not sure if we have a good connection or not. I do have another question. How have you been perceived by...
If we're good.
I think we...
Yeah, I don't think...
I think the connection...
I can hear you.
Oh,
okay.
I want to ask you, how have you been received by the gay community? How are they receiving you?
EQIA XYZ plus community. I am a Nazi. I am a racist. I am a transphobe. Here in Utah, once I stepped away, they said you are excommunicated from the LGBTQ community and you are no longer welcome in any LGBTQ space. And it hurt my feelings at first, but now I say, thank God. Why would I want to be there while you guys are trying to push hormones and castrations on 11-year-old girls?
Right.
And as Ryan said, that it's the individual that matters, and why should we keep calling those people a community? Like, what kind of community? Like, what are they promoting? What is the goal? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a good goal. And so it's the individual in America should have their freedoms and their rights, and they don't need to be part of a community, even if they are gay or whatever.
Can I jump in?
Sure, yeah.
So KJ, to your question, I wanted to say to Ryan, I hope you can hear me. I found it very refreshing that you are a walking stereotype and you are challenging, not only are you challenging the left's stereotypes, I think you're challenging conservatives as well to some degree. So I never knew about you until I think Colleen, mentioned you, and I saw some of your videos. I think it's refreshing that you are bold and courageous and you are telling the truth, but you are also making it known that you are not the normal and you're not necessarily promoting it. I think that's refreshing.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. To answer that comment, that is exactly right. And in the past, drag queens have existed since, Versailles, Marie Antoinette. Like, men have always been theatrically dressed up. It's only in modern times where it has been weaponized by the left. Because in the past, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember RuPaul, but yeah, RuPaul was hilarious. Big wig. And there was never a question that this is a man wearing a costume to make you laugh. And now a man wearing a costume is somehow attached to indoctrinating 3-year-olds in preschool. And that's where we draw the line. And I want to take drag, Lady MAGA, back to a place where people see me, they smile, they laugh. And I want them to always say, you look better than I do in makeup. And I'm like, yeah, honey, I do.
Let me ask you this, because, we kind of share similar stories. I'm African American, and most African Americans are on the left and they vote Democrat. And, I have gotten hate mail about my views. I've, family members, friends have, unfriended me. And really it's been tough. It has been a little tough. When I saw some of your videos, I wonder, is this a lonely place? Because not only are you're conservative and you're shunned by the gay community, but then you're Christian. I mean, what is it like being you? Like, how do you is it lonely, or are you finding some type of connection with people that agree? What's that like?
I'm just going to be straight up. Lady MAGA is always smiling. I'm always doing happy videos. But this is the most freaking lonely I've ever been my whole life. Because I am trying to stand up for America and stand up for the truth. And then people on the right, they don't even bother to listen to my podcast or try to understand what I'm doing. And they try to humiliate me, and they make viral videos about how Lady MAGA is evil and, stand up against Lady MAGA. And then the very people who should be telling me, yes, queen, your makeup's on point, none of that anymore, because I refuse to align with the LGBTQ agenda. And I'll be honest with you, I can handle all of that, but I'm the youngest of 8 children. And like I said, I have over 56 nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews. And the majority of my family has left the Mormon church. And they were all about me when I was gay and I was a drag queen. But now that they stepped away from the Mormon church, they have made it their mission to attack me and call me an internalized homophobe and tell me that the reason I'm a conservative and the reason I say don't wave the pride flag, the pride parade is disgusting. Nobody should be waving sex toys in front of McDonald's. They have messaged me and said, don't talk to me anymore. So my personal family, because of COVID, because of masks, because of lockdowns, and because I stood up against those lockdowns, and because they feel so good about themselves when they put up their LGBTQ flag in their profile, and they're so tolerant. And then I messaged them a picture of a pride parade where drag queens are dressed like sluts, with a giant penis on their float. And I say, you don't know what you're supporting. You love to feel tolerant. You love to feel diverse. And because you left the Mormon church, you feel like you're so woke. You're so advanced. But they refuse to listen to me. So I can handle the hate from the radical left. I can handle the hate from the people on the right who attack me and insult me, because I get it. I know why they're doing that, because they see Drag Queen Story Hour, where drag queens are literally teaching children to twerk and reading stories. They're not reading Cinderella. They're not reading Curious George or Where the Wild Things Are. They are reading specific political stories that have been pre-selected in order to indoctrinate children and confuse them about gender. If they were just like, we're crazy performers, we're men in a wig, rainbow, whatever, it would be very different. But it's very radical. So I've tried to explain that to over half of my Mormon family, who now does not associate with me because I'm a radical. And the ultimate irony is like, your daughters are not going to win their scholarship in high school because you embrace this radical LGBTQIA nonsense. And if you continue with this, your preschool teacher or your first grader teacher is going to be legally allowed to talk to your child about their gender identity and their genitalia and their so-called LGBT persona without even talking to you. But they've cut me off. So I've lost everything: personal, family relationships. And of course, I was a flight attendant. I won't say the name of the airline, but it rhymes with Schmelta. I lost my job. I was a
yes, I've heard about that.
I was a flight attendant for 8 years.
Ryan, I'm serious. Now that you said that you used to work for Smelta, I was once an avid Smelta flyer. And when you said that, I swear I've seen you on one of those planes. And I just vaguely, like a deja vu kind of a moment.
Yeah, well, the reason you remember me, because as all of you can tell right now, I was the ultimate flight attendant. I love my passengers. I flirted with all the women, telling them they're gorgeous, getting them a little drink, bringing extra peanuts. All my little old ladies who were disabled, I would always come up to them and say, every flight I have a favorite passenger, and these people are terrible. You are my favorite. I loved my job. And
what was the reason? Why did they let you go?
So on January 7th, the day after January 6th that I had nothing to do with, I got a call from Schmelta, and they said, there's been an investigation opened on you, and we just have a few questions about your social media. I said, okay. So they got me on their little Zoom call, and the first picture they showed me was me with patriots in Utah, and the patriots were legally open carrying their guns, and I had a Trump flag in the middle of them, because patriots, the reputation is they're homophobes, and I know people like Bryson or Nick Fuentes, they love to act like conservatives hate gay people. No, they're grateful that I'm there. So I'm in the middle of a bunch of patriots in their camo with their beards, big gun. They asked me to take a picture. So they showed me that and asked me, why did you post this? Because of course the narrative is that conservatives are dangerous. You know, we had an insurrection. And I said, the reason I posted that was, number one, to stand up for our constitutional Second Amendment right. And number two was to show the world that conservatives are not bigoted, homophobe, awful people. Okay, next picture. Picture of me in drag with a nice big gun. Why did you post this? To support the Second Amendment. And they just continued with a bunch of pictures that were, one, perfectly legal, two, in no way, shape, or form dangerous, but they were able to label me as dangerous because I had been reported, and this is on record, I have been reported by the LGBTQIA plus community within Schmelta, and that's why they came for me. And 1 month later, February 23rd, 2021, I lost my career. I lost my health insurance. I lost my flight benefits, and I lost a life that I loved. I loved being a flight attendant. I loved taking care of my passengers, making funny announcements. And because I'm a big Disney fan, I treated every single flight as a Disney ride. Welcome aboard. How are you today? Oh my gosh, I love your sweater. How you doing? Thank you for flying with us today. And so they just ripped away my entire foundation over the past 8 years of my life. My 401k, my savings, my career plan was to be a flight attendant because I loved it. And so when they did that to me, it really was an awakening that, oh my gosh, this could happen to anybody.
Now, were you able to get a job with another airline, or you just gave
No. Number one, all of the airlines are woke, all of them. Mm-hmm. As we've seen with COVID and the masks and, mandates and all that, all of them are woke. And two, the job as a flight attendant doesn't get good until about 6 years in. And so I'm not willing to start over. And I feel a personal calling from God and my mom in heaven that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing right now. Not pouring Diet Cokes. I feel like I've been called to take a stand, get out there, make a difference, and erase this radical LGBTQIA plus agenda and just say, hey, I'm gay. I want my freedoms. End of story. And so I feel like it's God. I feel like Job. I mean, I lost family relationships, all my LGBTQIA friends, my drag career, my career at Schmelta. I mean, what next? And so I just feel like God is saying, you know what, hone it in and really focus on your politics and an America First rescue agenda and try and awaken other gay people who own a business, who pay their taxes, and who have no desire to indoctrinate 5-year-olds in kindergarten about their sexuality.
Do you think you want to run for office? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Maybe in the future?
I mean, I'm selfish. The reason I don't want to run for office is because I'm not very good at being super fake with Democrats. Mm-hmm. And if you run for office, you have to be in meetings and pretend that we're all best friends. So one, I can't do that. So I view my goal and my vision as being an influencer, so to speak, like Steven Crowder or Matt Walsh or, Blair White or other people, and try and reach as many people as I can to help them embrace a gay guy like me and be like, we love you, wear a wig, have your fun, without feeling like they're betraying their fundamental values, whether those are Christian values or evangelical values or Mormon values. I don't want them to feel like it's this or that. And right now, with the radical LGBTQIA plus agenda, it's this or that. And now your choice is clear. If you embrace the LGBTQIA community, you embrace Judge Jackson, and you want lenient sentences for child torturers. Like, this is where we're at, guys.
So also another question, do you
This will be the
think,
last one because
okay,
we're out of time.
okay, sorry.
Oh,
So do you think that LGBTQ plus community, some people have been saying recently that they're promoting basically grooming of young children.
absolutely.
Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. 100%. That's why I get so angry as a drag artist, because this is why I can't have nice things. This is why people like Bryson Gray are afraid of me. I've always been a drag artist. I love to have fun. But when you see drag queens in a public library twerking and reading stories about genitalia and being total perverts in a public library, of course you're going to fear us. So yes. And this is why people like Richard Grinnell, David Leatherwood, Rob Smith, Ariel Scarcella, Scott Pressler, we are saying enough is enough. Because guess what? They always talk about the slippery slope, right?
Mm-hmm. Somebody commented and said Brandon Straka too. Brandon Straka.
Oh, Brandon. Oh, exactly. Actually, he should be number one on the list. But the thing is, we're just asking for our freedoms. We're not seeking cultural domination. We're not seeking to erase the freedoms of others. And especially, we're not seeking to erase biology. Every person on this chat, you are a biological woman. I am not. And I don't care how much makeup I wear. I don't care how fabulous my wig is. I would never, ever dream of one, erasing your identity, or two, going into your bathroom and exposing myself in your locker room. That would be assault, you know? And even when I'm Lady MAGA, I walk into the men's room and these poor men are always like, I'm like, don't worry. I'm a man in a wig. I'm a man in a costume, and I would never go into the women's bathroom because I am not a woman. And they're always like, okay. No. So it is a tricky road, but your question was, are they predatory? Are they groomers? And the answer is yes. Any school teacher who is against Ron DeSantis's bill to keep kids innocent, and he's not even talking about 4th or 5th graders. He's talking about kindergartners to 3rd grade. Let's teach ABC. Let's teach them, oranges have vitamin C, and, salad is better than McDonald's. I mean, we just have to educate them on the basics. And so these people who are so angry that they cannot talk about transgenderism, which incorporates hormone injections, mastectomies, castration, and other horrific procedures, they are predators, because the agenda of the left is to erase the traditional family. The agenda of the left is to erase Christianity. The agenda of the left is to erase biological women. And that's why I want no part of it. And, I do get a lot of hate from certain people on the right. The vast majority, if they meet me or they listen to my podcast, they get what I'm doing. But I will stand up forever and say, I'm gay. I'm not stupid. I just want my freedom to wear a feather boa, have my fun. But as soon as my fun encroaches on the fundamental freedoms of others, and that means parents, that means religions. I live 1 minute from a Mormon temple, and the LGBTQIA community in Utah is attacking the Mormons. Their temples are homophobic. They're responsible for trans suicides. And I'm like, why is their spiritual journey any of your business?
Yeah, well, that's what they say. They say, I have a friend who says the same thing. She says, silencing trans, you're committing suicide. You're helping them commit suicide.
Okay. This is literally out of our entire conversation. This is the most important thing I want to talk about. They have weaponized the word suicide. Mm-hmm. They tell anybody who disagrees with the mastectomy or castration of an 11-year-old, that if you don't let them take those hormones, if you don't let them cut off their hot dog, if you don't let them cut off their melons, you will be responsible for their suicide. And here's the reality, folks. Here's the scenario. We have a 10-year-old boy. He loves makeup. He loves wigs. He loves Barbie and Cinderella. Okay. Now we're going to inject him with hormones that prevent his natural adolescence. What does that mean? It means he'll never reach his full height, his Adam's apple will never develop, and his testicular development will be halted. It's chemical castration. So that boy that you're injecting, without him being able to give informed consent, he turns 16, he turns 17, and realizes, I'm confused, and I have the genitalia of a 9-year-old, and I didn't really want this, and he's suicidal. Who is responsible for those suicidal tendencies? Is it the Mormons or Lady MAGA, or is it the people who altered his body without him being able to give informed consent?
Right. That's genital mutilation. That's what it is.
Of course it is.
People can never have their like normal anatomy after that. That's
and
awful.
what they never talk about is the fact that any genital mutilation, whether it's on, and if you're 21, cut off, I don't care. You mutilate, get your whatever you want, I don't care. But what they don't talk about is any genital surgery to become the so-called opposite gender renders your capacity for a pleasurable sexual experience to basically zero.
What? Or even use the bathroom. You can hardly use the bathroom half the time. So it's like, it's a constant reminder that every time you use the bathroom, that this isn't natural. This isn't right.
You made a mistake.
Yes.
And so, for example, let's say tomorrow I say I'm transgender and I hate my penis, which, by the way, it's child abuse to tell any child that they should hate or resent their body that God gave them. That in itself is traumatizing to a child. What could be more abusive than telling a little child, your body is the wrong body?
And what happened to accepting your body as it is? Like it's so contradictory when people on the left would be like, well, it's your body, you should, if you're 300 pounds, it's okay. And then you turn around, you should hate your body because you're a male or
and I always ask them the question, I say, you're trans, whatever, and you say that I cannot accept you for who you are, when in reality, biologically, you are the one who has been rendered incapable of embracing who you truly are. There's nothing wrong, whether you want to call it God or nature or whatever, there's nothing wrong with your body. And if you're a boy who loves nail polish and wigs and makeup and Cinderella and Mean Girls, Legally Blonde, that doesn't mean you're in the wrong body. And you can outgrow your interest in Barbie or makeup or nail polish or whatever, but you can never outgrow the mutilation that they are pushing on these kids. So let's say I when I was 14, I played the role trying to be the perfect Mormon, but in secret, I would wear my sister's prom dress when nobody was home and I'd twirl in front of the mirror. And that in itself is harmless. I can outgrow that. I cannot outgrow hormones that permanently alter my body. And I certainly cannot outgrow chemical castration. So let's say today Lady MAGA says, oh, I'm not a man anymore. I want to have genital alterations to my hot dog. So what do they do to the hot dog? Cut it up, snip, snip, snip. They tuck it up inside your body. They split. God only knows what they're doing. And then everything's great. I have a so-called vagina. And then I go to have an intimate experience and I realize, oh no, I ruined my body. I mutilated my body. And then what are they going to, and that's why they're suicidal. But nobody wants to talk about that. And that's why we have to speak up. The Save the Children commercials in the 80s for the starving children on TV, we should have those same commercials for children who are being mutilated in the name of trans kids or whatever, because That's why they're killing themselves. And nobody wants to talk about that. 13-year-old girl's already a mess on her hormones with her period and her zits and her tender breasts. And you start injecting her with testosterone, you really think she's going to be emotionally stable? She's going to become neurotic and suicidal. And then they're going to blame.
Hey, Ryan, we're going to have you back.
Yes, we certainly will. We've run out of time. We could continue on and on with you, but we do have to, end it right now. But certainly, we want you to have you on again. Is there any last minute? How can people find you, or how can people reach you?
I'm banned from TikTok. I'm kicked off Instagram. But if they go to Lady MAGA USA, LADYMAGA USA.com, they can find where I can still be found: Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And I have not made this financially sustainable, but I do have a little PayPal thing on my website.
Okay.
So if they go there, they could sign up for $1 or $5, a month to help me, because you know what? One video that I make that looks so easy, that takes me 6 hours to edit, add the filter, add the subtitles. So if people really want to support me, they can donate through the PayPal on my website. And I'm still on Facebook. I'm still on Twitter. I'm still on YouTube. And I am working on getting on Truth Social, Locals, Parler, Getter, because I know all of ours, even right here on YouTube, y'all better be promoting your new Rumble or whatever, because you're going to get kicked off after conversations like this.
Right. All right. Yeah. Well, you guys,
this is a very important conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Come see me in Utah, you guys. I'm serious. Come to Utah. I'll take you to the mountains. I'll take you to the
We're going to a Mormon
sites.
temple here, right? We're supposed to go in May. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. We're supposed to
here in DC. Yeah. There's a big temple here, so we actually we're planning to do a field trip over there.
It's a little weird, but so is the Catholic Church. So are the Muslims. So are the Jews. So are the Buddhists. So just the Mormons, I love them. And my entire circle of people who support me right now after my mom died, after I lost my job, is Mormon housewives. And you know what? There's something to be said about that. They are good people. So I will never go against the Mormons. And I believe in their religious freedom. Your temple is your business, sweetheart. I don't care if the LGBTQ tell you you're causing suicide. Your temple is so homophobic. I'm like, girl, no. Go to your temple. Be happy.
Thank you.
Of course, you guys. I love you guys.
We love you.
Let's do this again soon, okay?
Yes,
and come see me in Utah, promise?
All right,
okay.
we will.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. You better work, bitch.
All right.
Great.
Wow. Well, that was awesome. Great conversation. You guys join the conversation by leaving a comment on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. I see you guys commenting. Thank you so much. Let me go through some of these just really quickly because I want to recognize you guys. So let's see here. We have Blanca. I believe the left machine has exploited more people for their own agenda than anything else has ever done. They turn on people and hate so much that they make no room for anyone who disagrees with them. So true. So true. So what else do we have here? Let's see here. Cassandra, thanks so much for this show tonight and for this guest. He was awesome. He was. Let's see. I have here Kinsey. What an excellent show. Ryan really gave me a new perspective on this. Definitely have him back. Yes, indeed. All right. So we have Abe's back. Oh, yup. Turning people. Yeah, that's where people are. Yeah, it's not objecting to them. It's the actual process that they're going through that is causing so much trauma. So we will continue to check the comments periodically throughout the show. Again, subscribe to our social media so you always know when we post new content. While you're commenting, share this video, share the YouTube, share it on your social media so other people can definitely get. This is how we move ourselves up. This is how we get this video out in every video that we do. When you comment, when you share, when you subscribe, this will allow our content to go out to the masses. And that's what we need at this point, especially an interview like this. Okay, so we are moving right along to our pop-off. Then now it's time where I need each of you to pop off on a trending topic and provide your reaction in 30 seconds or less. So starting off with you tonight, Shelley. Joy Reid continues to compare Republicans to segregationists, suggesting that Senate Republicans will end up on the Dixiecrat side of history. In their pushback against the nomination of Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Jackson Brown. So as you know, if confirmed by the Senate, she will be the first African-American female on the Supreme Court. Do you agree or disagree with Reid's contention, and why?
You know what? I'm sick of Joy Reid. Like, I'm sick of some other people. I don't even want to dignify talking to her. She's ignorant, okay? She's done this before. She overlooks the fact that the Southern Democrats, they were the ultimate racists. They were the party of the KKK. They were the party of segregation, Jim Crow, like she's talking about. I'm sick of Joy Reid. I wish she would just go the way of the KKK, who are largely out of sight and out of mind right now.
Right. And what about her contention, though, that people, that Republicans who have been questioning Ketanji Brown, Jackson Brown, they're racist, or they're doing this because she's Black? What are your thoughts on that?
She's full of crap. Okay, she's full of crap. I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I'm a Black woman. I have locks like Ketanji, whatever her name is, KBJ. I question her too. So in Joy's definition, I guess I'm a racist, but that's her definition for anybody that disagrees with anybody that has dark skin or brown skin as the catchphrase. So it doesn't matter. She's ignorant.
All right. Yana, so you next is for you.
Okay.
All right. In a Huffington Post article, former Playmate Carissa Shannon said sex with Hugh Hefner was like the R word. Shannon and her twin sister, Christina Shannon, dated Hefner starting when they were 18 and he was 83, appearing on the last season of the reality show The Girls Next Door. Although the show depicted their relationships with magazine mogul as fun, quirky, and eccentric, the sisters now say the reality was far different. She was quoted as saying, "We've heard these kind of situations throughout the..." I'm sorry, she said their reality was far different. So we've heard these kind of situations throughout the Me Too movement of female celebrities being abused by famous and powerful men, but remain silent for years until the abuser dies. Then they share their stories. How do you feel about the Shannon's account of abuse by Hugh Hefner?
Well, I don't see first of all, it's obvious what she's saying. I mean, I'm nauseous already just thinking about it. So like, I can't. Like 83, really, and like when you're 8, like, come on, like I can't even imagine. Like it's insane. And no, but at the same time, no, it was not abuse. She put herself in that situation. She abused herself. That's what she did.
All right.
That's my response to that.
All right. And you guys, I mean, if you have a moment, read the story behind this. You know, it is actually nasty and it makes you nauseous. But everything they went through, this was in the Huffington Post. It's like they put themselves in this situation. I couldn't believe it. I had to comment on it. But,
like they abuse themselves and then like, we got abused. No,
right,
you did it to yourself. Blame yourself.
Right. All right, Colleen. So Monica Lewinsky is the subject of the dramatized series as a 23-year-old White House intern who falls in love with the president and mistakenly shares her secret with work confidant Linda Tripp. She is also a producer on the show. So this is a new series coming out on FX, American Crime Story Impeachment. In your opinion, was Monica Lewinsky a consensual adult or victim?
Okay, so I did actually watch this series, and then I just recently watched her HBO documentary about like the 15 Minutes of Shame, I think it's called, or something. And I don't, I think that she definitely was a victim, especially since she was the first. And the reason I say that is because she is the first to be really like canceled on the internet. And she was really, she's just a young girl in Washington, D.C., a small fish in a huge pond. And I think that she honestly really went through the ringer when this first all went down. But now I don't really have much sympathy for her. I really feel like she has way too much loyalty to the Democrat Party, which drug her through the mud any way they possibly could. I mean, I'm not saying if there was a Republican president and a Republican intern that it'd be a different scenario, but I mean, they really ate their own there. And then now sometimes you'll see some Democrats will hold her up on a pedestal and be like, oh, Monica Lewinsky's here. We're going to pretend like we weren't mean to you for so many years. Yay. But like, I don't know. So now I don't really think she's a victim, but at the time when all that stuff was going down, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I saw I saw Shelly twisting around. And
I think she was less than the victim than the guys, the girls with the Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that story with Hugh Hefner. But Monica Lewinsky, you know what? I'm not saying that she should have been ridiculed or anything, but a victim, I don't think she was. Was the president wrong? Absolutely. But then that means Monica Lewinsky was wrong as well. She was not a victim. It was entanglement, I guess, of sorts. I don't know. But there were no victims.
All right. All right. So again, that was our pop-off round. So if you have a question or a question for one of our co-hosts, email me, kj@metroconservativemedia.com, and I will ask each co-host your pop-off question. All right. So we are moving right along to our next topic of the night. All right. Which is actually abortion. So abortion has been all over the news lately, from California, who wants to be a sanctuary abortion refuge, to now abortion pills by mail. And Maryland has just passed a radical abortion law. So I want to talk about that just quickly, because I know we are kind of moving past time tonight. I want to start off with this, the 5 babies. So, not sure if you guys have been following this, but here in DC, the remains of 5 babies were found all in the 2nd and 3rd trimester and look to have been murdered by illegal means. So, the backstory to this is basically the remains were found in a pro-life activist's home. On that same day, she was going to hand over to the police these remains. The FBI showed up at her home to indict her for a federal law having to do with activism from 2 years ago. So something totally unrelated to these fetuses. She was actually given these fetuses by a whistleblower from an abortion clinic in DC. So basically, they posted the images of these dead fetuses. Take a look at some of these photos of the remains. So I want you guys to take a look here. Do we have those? These are the remains. These are the babies that were aborted. So there we have, you see that? So if you are disgusted and feel, pain or sadness as you see these, I'm happy that you do, because maybe this will compel people to do something and stand up for life. So I actually hope those photos were shocking. One of the photos one of them is a partial birth abortion. It's a girl's neck is cut and her brain was removed. There was a boy in one of the photos, born alive and totally intact. If you saw that, it was a baby boy, totally intact. So basically, the life movement and pro-life activists are asking for an autopsy. So The fetuses now remain at the DC medical examiner's office, and we are asking for justice. So again, this is something that was going on at the DC Surgery Clinic. An abortionist by the name of Dr. Caesar Santagello, I believe. So he is known. If you Google him, he has ratings under Google that say he has done some awful things. Some women who have gone to him and said to stop, and he continued on with the abortion. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? It's a sad, sad story that hasn't gotten much press outside of the pro-life community.
Well, I'll say, can I just say that I feel like long term, I mean, the bigger problem is that we've normalized abortion so that this has become such a thing. And I think that we need to push in schools in order to make it so that we don't normalize pro-choice propaganda, because I see high schoolers with Facebook profile badges that say pro-choice, pro-women. Why is a high schooler pro-choice when that has to do with sex and pregnancy and stuff like that? So I think that a long-term step to help with the abortion issue that we have is to stop allowing the propaganda to be pushed in high schools and anything below high school or anything like that. Don't allow it. Like literally have teachers shutting it down. You could talk about abortion, but no pushing any pro-choice propaganda.
It's all over. Pro-choice is all in the culture. If you go to Teen Vogue, you go to they have a Teen Cosmo, I think now, and you go to the political portion of the magazines, all they talk about is pro-choice stuff. All they talk about is pro-choice, pro-choice, pro-choice. That is the political issue for young people, or at least that's what they try to push.
And I'm just wondering about the mothers of these babies that you just shown. I mean, I just wonder, like, what has gone through their mind, to get to that point of basically having a full formed baby and then do that to them. Like, I just I just can't understand that.
Well,
And it's just what's happening is like what Colleen was saying, why they're pushing it on young people. It's really to destroy culture, and that's what we were just talking in the previous segment, is to destroy the America, because any strong country would not do this. If you want to survive as a country, you would not be killing babies.
Yeah, and you saw the images. This is what the left calls reproductive justice. That's what reproductive justice is supposed to be. I want you to put it up again.
Child sacrifice. And
I want to put it up again, because this is what we are supposed to say is our body, our choice. That's our body, our choice. Do you guys see? I hope you guys see this. I'm talking to the audience right now. Screenshot it and share it on your social media. This is reproductive justice, is what the left calls it. Look, that is a whole baby right there. This is reproductive justice. This is our body, our choice. Ain't no woman's body there. That is a baby. That is not a woman's body. It's not reproductive justice. That's injustice. 5 fetuses. Injustice, and it's disgusting. And this is what the left has constantly been pushing. There is no more I'm against abortion, but I don't believe it should be outlawed. This is what you get. Every woman in America should be appalled by these photos and what happened here, right in the capital of our nation. It's sickening and it's disgusting. And if you are a Christian and you support this madness, you need to be in the burning hell.
And I used to see these abortion activists in DC when I worked there all the time. Like, I would go for my lunch break and they would be passing out their flyers. This is what they were promoting.
So I want to jump in. Abortion was supposed to have been safe, rare, and legal. Okay. And I can tell you firsthand, having counseled and even volunteering for a number of years in a crisis pregnancy center, as much as we are pro-life, the other side, women who are coming to these abortion clinics or seeking abortion that landed in the crisis pregnancy center, they don't see this and they don't receive this like this. What makes a difference is having one-on-one, I guess, contact, relationships, rapport with them, and actually sitting down with them. I understand the passion. I totally, I support it. I totally understand it. But they're not going to hear us. They're just not going to hear us because I've been there again, counseling these women, counseling them against abortion, and showing them a different way. What makes a difference is one-on-one. I'm not telling people don't protest. I'm not telling people don't stand in front of an abortion clinic to try to deter women. But I do know that having a one-on-one rapport with women who are seeking abortion and building up, telling them, talking to them, giving them whatever support they may need or whatever, putting them in a different path, that makes the difference.
Of course. And it's education. Let me tell you something. When I was in high school, before I had kids, child or whatever, I didn't even understand what an abortion was. Mm-hmm. The way they, and it call me naive, call me stupid, but the way they show it, and the way, especially if you haven't gone through childbirth, the way people make it seem like, oh, it's not even a baby yet. It's just a little thing. You're not harming anything. It's not hardly nothing.
Remember, KJ,
they don't even tell you what the abortion procedure is.
Right.
They don't talk about any of that.
No, they don't. But like we've said before, the left has taken over every institution, including the medical institution, where if you actually tell people the truth, then all hell comes down on you for telling the truth. But we cannot let that stand in the way. The truth is still the truth. And this is what happened. Again, the pictures that we showed is not the majority of abortions, even though it's still all tragic.
Yeah, it's the, honestly, I believe it's the option of it, because, and I'm not even talking about legally. I'm talking about, this is something where it's like, to me, it should be something seen as, if I'm in a situation where, let's say, I don't have a lot of money, and it shouldn't even be something that should be considered in a modern day society. It's barbaric.
Yeah,
but just because even they're not teaching us to think that way.
Right. And the thing is that the way it's presented to women, to people these days, is like, well, if you're not ready, if it's inconvenient, like, it's okay to have an abortion. But we're not in a place where we're in such a dire situation where women used to, like, I don't know, strangle their babies because the baby would starve otherwise. Like, we're not in that kind of situation right now. We're not in war. We don't have bombs falling on us. We don't have famine. Like, why are you killing your children just because it's not too convenient right now? And they make it seem like, well, you need to have that option. Otherwise, you're going to destroy your life. Like, you're going to have a baby and your life will be destroyed.
Yeah,
like, that's how they present it.
Right. It's the presentation and the narrative. And that's what messes us up. And like you mentioned, I mean, you talk about when you think about slavery times and the slaves and how they were still having these babies, you would think that abortion would have been rampant there. You would have think that these slaves would have been killing these kids left, and they were still having these babies in a time where their family was being raped and killed, and their husbands were being taken, and they were being abused. They were still having babies, But we live in a world where we have everything at our fingertips, and we're considering killing our kids because for a job that's making maybe $5,000 more a year.
Our culture celebrates death. Right. Death is more celebrated than life.
Right. And believe me, this is what I know, it's a tough decision, and I know that it's not as easy as just, telling people. I know people are in, bad situations, but the way that it is presented to young people, to women, is wrong. This whole idea of my body, my choice, just calling it reproductive health is wrong. It's not reproductive. It's not. It's abortion. It shouldn't even be in the reproductive system, because it's not about reproduction. You're not producing anything. You're killing it.
Well, and also the reason I think why it's promoted so much is because of sexual promiscuity that is also promoted. So it's kind of like, if you're going to have sexual promiscuity, then you must have abortion, because you could, even though you're going to try to protect against pregnancy, you still will get pregnant, at some point. So then they're like, well, what can you do about that? Then the abortion is the answer. So it's like it goes hand in hand. So the left, people on the left, the Marxists, that was the whole thing. Like, it's actually written in Marxism that sexual promiscuity, it should be okay. Like, it's a normal thing, that people are free to choose what they want to do with their body in terms of sex, and also that abortion should be an option. Like that, in fact, once the Soviet Union was created in the early 20th century, it was one of the first countries to have legal abortion because of Marxism.
Yeah. And I would also add, we say it all the time, and follow the money. Follow the money. Who's getting money, who's getting paid to do these things, and who's suffering the most from the procedures. Follow the money. I think it's almost, a lot of times, it's as simple as that.
Well, I think also, I mean, I've heard reports that some places sell body parts and stuff like that too.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know how much of that is.
That's where they're pushing for it. I mean, yeah, they want to harvest organs.
Mm-hmm.
It's very satanic.
Mm-hmm. Project Veritas exposed a little bit on this, I believe.
Yes.
I can't remember the guy's name, but this one guy in particular really blew the lid off of Planned Parenthood. I know that Kamala Harris has him on her hit list. She can't stand the guy because she was like one of the biggest pushers for it at the time or something. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well, we will continue to follow this. There's so many things going on with abortion these days. We actually have something here in Maryland, a law. We're actually running out of time, and we have another topic to get to. So we'll touch on this at a later time. But please continue to comment and tell us what you think. I mean, I know I got a little passionate there, but I mean, just seeing those photos was just upsetting. It's sometimes you just get tired of all this negativity, and it just seems like people are losing their minds. People are losing it. I want to just go through some of the comments really quickly here. We have Poetically LaShawn. I am going to look that book up. Thanks. All right. Let's see here. We have Gloria, the assassinated Dr. George Tiller, who murdered 60,000 babies, is memorialized by the corporate media, and Charles Manson, who murdered no one, is the devil. Okay. We have Lewis, love the rise of conservative women. Keep it going, ladies. We need more. Amen. Yeah. So Stephen, glorification of pro-choice and infanticide. Yeah, we got infanticide, we got grooming. So they're just coming after the children. This left is coming after the kids. If they don't kill you, they're going to groom you. So isn't that crazy? Let's see here. Normalize and confusion by reimagining what a baby is. A baby is not a clump of cells. It is a life. Yeah.
It's one of the biggest lies. They tell you that you don't get a heartbeat until like some really long timeline down the road, and it's actually pretty quick.
It's pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We have Gloria, fetal death, 5/7/21, COVID-19, vaccine, Janssen, years. 1 minute after the shot, I fainted. Oh, she's talking about what happened to her. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, we need to hear stories like that more because the people like her, they're censored.
Yeah. I'll do one more. Joe, government wants dominance over everything, including your mind. Yes. Yeah. We got to stay vigilant. We have to stay vigilant. All right. So thank you so much. Again, continue with the comments. As you comment, please share this video. What we are talking about is not being talked about in mainstream media, and we need to get our voices out there. Every time you share, every time you comment on this video, every time you like our page and subscribe, this gets us out to the masses. It grows our movement. If you're on here and you're listening to hearing things that you like, please subscribe to us and share and like the page, because we need, like you said, like many of you said, we need to stay vigilant and we need to share and grow our movement. All right, last topic of the night. We are talking about an article, I believe it was in the New York Post, talking about Black women, encouraging Black women to find love with white men. So basically, it talks about the effects of racism have left well-educated Black women with a paucity of Black male partners. So this article asks why more Black women should consider, well, talks about why more Black women should consider marrying white men. It goes, according to Brookings Institute data, Black men are less likely than Black women to have completed high school and 50% less likely to have attained a 4-year college degree. Yet, despite the shortage of suitable Black partners, Black women have also been the least likely of any minority group to marry outside of their race. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Do you agree with this article? Should Black women start looking for love with white men? I'll start with you, Shelley, the only Black woman on this panel.
So, first of all, I think Black women, they should marry who you want. Okay, marry who you want. If I don't understand because that there's this allegiance to marry someone just because of the color of your skin. If that's who you want to marry, fine. If you want to marry someone where you have the same values or similar values, you have this chemistry, whatever, do it. You only live once.
All right. What are your thoughts on this, Yana? One part of the article says, after all, Black men appear to have no problem marrying out. They say the same Pew report revealed they are twice as likely as Black women to have a non-Black spouse. So they're doing it.
Yeah.
You've dated Black men, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they never had a problem with me.
Yeah.
So I but I do know that Black women have a problem when they see a non-Black woman with a Black. Not all, of course, but I've noticed that and I have heard that. So a lot of times they'll be like, you're stealing the Black man and things like that. So I've heard that for sure.
I think it's only with ugly ones, because you're a pretty lady, you're a pretty girl. So you see a Black man, he's like, oh, she's pretty, she's cute, pretty girl. But then you see him with these ugly ones, and then you
maybe. But I mean, I've heard that it's just because anyway. But I think that I agree with Shelley that in general people should, in terms of marriage, love, like race should not be an issue. So if a Black woman is preventing herself, if she's not even opening herself up to that possibility, I mean, she's cutting off a lot of options. And so I don't know why they're doing that. Sometimes in the article it mentioned that they think it's because of racism. Like they think that like white men would not date a black woman, but that's not necessarily the case. So I think a lot of times it's kind of like, to have this allegiance to, they want to have, a black man. But I mean, I don't know if that's, I think you have to have an open mind, because if you don't have an open mind, then you might not have a happy relationship. Like, you might end up with someone who you went for because of superficial reasons, maybe. Like, you have to look at who the person is inside and not just their skin color or whatever. So that's my take on that.
Okay. And what are your thoughts, Colleen? I mean, the article goes on to say how, it appears that black women have been very, their choice is black men, but black men are dating outside of their race. They're dating, outside of black women, and black women are being left behind because of this. And they're, and a lot of times you have, these mass incarceration of these black men. You have them philandering around. Are black men still a good catch?
Absolutely, of course. But I will say that, like, modern day black culture, which is not always something that we want our youth, being influenced by, because unfortunately it has become very negative. And I think that it pushes for black women to be more independent, and therefore that pushes that man out of the role. And I think that that is kind of off-putting to many men. I mean, not just black men, but that might be off-putting to be with a woman who is just extremely independent. So, and that has been pushed among young black women to be independent. You don't need a man, but yet we still want one. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a sticky situation. I mean, if you are telling women that you don't need a man, and then you're not allowing his place to be, assumed, then it's like, I don't know. I've always been so open. I've always loved the idea of everybody dating whoever they want, not based on just their race, because I do like we were saying, an open mind. I like that aspect of it. And I think that to be open-minded, you really do have to see somebody for what's on the inside and not what they look like. So
I think it's a conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a conspiracy. First, Colleen, I want to ask you, maybe later after the show, what do you think black culture is? Because you said something about black. I'm just curious what you would think.
So when I say that, it would be like, unfortunately, it would be like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. That's how.
That's not black culture. Maybe you should talk to some black women.
Maybe like modern like pop culture, like,
okay. But my conspiracy theory is this, that some people who are saying that, black women should only date black men, when the black men can and do marry non-black women. I think it's a conspiracy. They don't want black women to have children.
Really?
I don't know. They don't want black women to have children. So if black women are not having children and the black men are having children and marrying non-black spouses, then that's going to be reproduction there. But the black women are eventually going to die out if they're not reproducing and they're not being married by black men. I'm just saying, that's just my crazy conspiracy.
I mean, they're definitely reproducing. They're just not marrying the right people. It's like, not marrying at all.
I mean, it's not even that crazy of a conspiracy, because black women have the highest abortion rates. So it's not really a conspiracy if you think about it. I mean, that's just another, way to knock down the, black women in America, essentially.
You do have women who, this is something I hear in not just black women circles, but in women circles in general. They say these black men have a higher propensity of not, of straying, of not staying committed to their relationships, of the income differential, so they can't support their relationships. And so this is something the article was saying why black women need to give up on black men, because they're basically not
well
living up to their potential.
I wouldn't word it like that necessarily. I think that the advice is look for the right guy. And so it's kind of like it doesn't matter what he looks like or what race the guy is. It's important to look for the right one. So if it happens that a black man, that whoever you're dating or people in your circle are not the right guy for not a marriage type, then maybe you should look somewhere else for another man. And if he happens to be not black, then it's okay.
Right. And see, what black women need to understand, or women period, but certainly black women who are seemingly not the ones who are staying so insular where they're not marrying out, they're losing out, because guess what? Women have biological clocks. So you're missing out. Most women do want to have a child or more children. Most women will have children, but you're missing out if you're only limiting yourself to one segment just because of some superficial skin color.
Yeah, well, the issue, there's some can argue that the issue is that black men don't want black women. And so they say, especially throughout this article, it talks about how black women are saying they will only date black men.
That's why they're so mad when they see a black man with a white woman.
Right. Black men are twice as likely to date outside of their race. So
because it's like maybe men have more sense in that case. It's like they want what they want, they want a relationship, so they're gonna go for it. And women have all these like preconceived ideas. It's similar way. It's not just race wise. How young girls, they will be like, he needs to be 6'3" and he has to be strong and he needs to know how to dance well, like all this stuff, that all these superficial things that women want, and then they meet someone like that and he's an asshole.
So like that's literally the problem, is that if we are, so first of all, if we're going to be talking about what somebody's race is, well, that's based on looks. So if you care about somebody's race, you ultimately care about their looks more than what's on the inside. And I mean, that is honestly, Liana, it's so true. I mean, women are going for the hottest guys they can find and are like, why does he keep cheating on me? And I'm just like, I can,
or not committing.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I have so many options.
Well, they show that these numbers show that the black men are stepping out at a higher rate than these other races. Also, when you see on child support, and things like that, they're filled and riddled with black men. Black men.
Newsflash, ladies. Newsflash, ladies. You're not gonna like this, but historically and in reality, men have always had more options.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they have more options. Doesn't mean you have to use the options.
Well, no, they don't.
I got a whole thing of coloring pad here. I got a whole thing of colored pencils. I don't have to write with all at the same time, do I?
Well, that's
so. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not looking for the right character too. It's like if you're just looking for the super. I'm sure that there are definitely guys that are good in many ways, like, and they're good looking and they have a good character, absolutely, but that's what you have to look for. And if you're just looking for the superficial part of it, then you're gonna end up with someone who doesn't commit, or you get pregnant and he doesn't stay. So
well, now you have all of these high profile black women, and they are going to white men. You have, this article points out, Jodie Turner-Smith, even Kamala Harris,
KBJ,
right? The other lady who was the Supreme Court justice. So you do have these women who, they're making a lot of money, and for some reason they can't. I don't know if they can't find, but they're not choosing black men because the black men aren't making the same amount of money.
Okay, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. For those who don't know, hello, my name is Chadwick. I am one of the producers here for MCM, aka Reason for Great Thoughts Matter. I cannot listen to this anymore. I sat here and I tried as hard as I possibly could.
What did we say wrong?
And KJ, I'm telling you, you are, yeah, you know how to pluck my nerves. You do. So yeah, and I'm going to be quick on this because I'm just listening to all of this. Oh, she's digging at me. She seriously was. So all right, yeah. First things first. First things first. I believe you said that what all these high class and high income earning Black women are doing. What? Repeat that statement. They're just marrying these. They're just going to white guys. Is that what you said?
Well, not Black guys.
The high income earners, the high earners,
Okay.
the high, yeah, the high profile women.
The high income earners. All right. So let's make it incredibly clear. So as I've stated before, the Bureau for Labor and Statistics last year, June, July last year, they just put that bad boy out. Yes, Black men still out earn Black women by an average of $6,000. I don't care what false crazy narratives that you can say what you want to say. It doesn't necessarily work like that. We are facts, data, and statistics type people. We still do that. Yes, 90% of Black women marry Black men. 86% of Black men marry Black women. We aren't that far out. The whole cheating aspect of it that you were talking about, let's be real again, shall we? 28% of Black men claim to cheat. 24% of Black women claim to cheat, and there are 2 million more Black women. So you guys still cheat more than we do.
What?
Yeah, there are
because
2 million
there are
more.
No, wait a minute. Because there are more Black women, probably lends to more support as to the Black men who are marrying outside of the race.
Right. If there's more Black women, that means the that's going to be less. That's actually going to be less people.
Right. Yeah.
Right. There's less people for them to choose from.
Like less people that cheated because you have a bigger pool.
I'm sorry, you broke up on the last part of what you said. You want to say it again?
So if you have more people, if you take the percentage of more people, that means it's actually fewer people that were cheating. You know what I mean? Like you have more people, so the percentage is not going to be the same. You can't compare.
Right. You got a larger pool.
Right. Yes, you have a larger pool, so it's actually fewer women cheating than men.
Right.
But Black men, those who do marry outside of a non-Black person, do so at a higher rate than the Black women do.
And 4%. Men, do you think these men are telling the truth when they're answering these questions?
Do you think the women cheating? Are? Do you think the women are?
I do. I think so.
I think that men are lying more.
Let's be realistic here. Men lie more. Women tell bigger lies.
Oh, so men are lying.
What does that even mean?
That means men will say, "I was out with my guy." Women will say, "It's your baby." That's what that means. Men tell smaller lies.
But you know what?
Women tell
but that
bigger
means that
lies.
men is they actually have more lies, right? So they lie more. Like basically, there's more lies in general. Like if you were putting lies in the jar, and the woman is going to create like one lie compared to like 100 lies that a man said. That's what you were saying.
Would you rather be stabbed 100 times? Would you rather be stabbed 100 times or hit with a hand grenade?
Probably a grenade because that's faster. But
the grenade kills you as well. So back to what we were talking about. I'm just sorry, KJ. You're hilarious. You did exactly what you probably were planned on doing.
Yeah, I don't think Black men cheat more than.
No, it's just.
I just trying to get Chad on.
When you get to a specific level financially, people become more race loyal.
Become what?
I mean, when you get to a specific financial level, people become more race loyal. Okay, so I heard that and we said in a meeting that yes, it is the truth. We said in a meeting recently that the top 33% of African American men in the United States that have a master's level degree or higher end up marrying out. And the question is why?
Do you become less race loyal?
Because they're in proximity with people who have similar values, skills, education, income. It's proximity.
Okay. Do you know the percentage of men in general that make $100,000 in the United States? Just men.
It's less. It's the 10% or upper. I mean, 10% or less class.
6%.
Okay, and when you drop it to black men, it is an even smaller percentage.
Yeah.
And these men are sprinkled all over the United States. Okay.
Yeah, but so they're around white women.
Exactly.
So that's why,
they're around
because they're
white women.
surrounded by people who are not just black.
Right.
So they're surrounded by all kinds of people.
Right.
Okay, so let's get back to the article that you were talking about. Since you said, you know, they're marrying white women. They're not. They're marrying
they're marrying non-black, even if it's white. They're marrying non-black women.
See, because the mentality is we literally sell out to femininity. That's that's the problem. Ooh. You see, men in general, black men in particular, we sell out to femininity. We've gotten to a point in which we want feminine women, and the 26% of African American women in the United States that are married, there's only 26% of them that are married are the ones that typically get it. Because the ones that are like that don't stay on the market long. You have to really take that into consideration.
No, I'm still trying to understand. What do you mean by black men sell out to femininity? What does that mean?
What do I mean by that? Exactly like that. The stereotypes come from somewhere. Stereotype is based in truth. People don't just make up stereotypes.
Stereotype?
The stereotype for African American women.
I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't understand what that means either. So you're saying
what do you mean by sellout? First of all,
I will happily explain that to you. It is really simple. The majority of the women in our culture are not that feminine. Huh? They're not.
That's what I was saying about like modern.
Colleen, I don't mind saying it. I know you wanted to dance around it. I don't mind saying it. They're not.
I mean,
okay?
But that's what's pushed. That's what's pushed. So it's not.
So because of that.
So what do you mean?
Men are starting to understand. Men are starting to get today that whole independent thing that was being pushed. I'm a strong, independent woman. He can't handle me. No, let's be realistic. We just don't have to.
So they go for a woman that is more feminine, even though she's not black. That's what you're saying?
Historically, men want
Historically, men want women selling out. I don't women who are young enough to reproduce.
Hold on. One at a time. They want. One at a time. Say again, Shelley.
Historically, men want to marry women who are in their reproductive ages so that they can provide heirs for them.
Facts. That's a part of it. That is a part of it. We want womb. We need womb. Anything above 30?
What did you mean by sell out?
Is geriatric pregnancy. Is considered geriatric pregnancy. It is not safe for women to do it after that. So yes,
it may not be safe for some women do,
yes,
but I don't understand. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that 3 out of 4 women are not married because they're not feminine.
Okay, so blackdemographic.com put out a 2 different tests last year. Yeah, please
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, that's for black people by black people, and you can then back it by the census.gov. You know, they match very well. 70% of women in the United States said women are not marriage material. 70%.
Said what? They said what?
70% of women in the United States said women are not marriage material.
Yeah, but women say a lot of things femininity femininity is such a broad term, and to each individual who's getting married, particularly men, that may mean something different. But to say that that's the only reason why, but they're sleeping with these women, particularly in the black community, they're sleeping with them, so they're feminine enough to sleep with and have babies.
No, believe it or not.
And then the men don't stay around.
Sleeping with, yeah. Well, that's what happens when you get raised by a single mother. That's what happens when you get raised by a single mother. When you have a
why don't the men stay around then? So the men are raised by a single mother, and then the women are raised by a single mother, and then the men impregnate the women who don't stay around after the fact that the men are gone to impregnate somebody else. Be real. Come on, man. Come on, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, let's throw it out like that. Let's throw it out like that.
So after his father's role rather than his mother's. So I think that's why a girl who grew up with a single mother can raise her children, but if a man doesn't raise his children, it's his father role wasn't in the house. So I think
maybe
that's,
maybe
and
there's
you know the crazy thing about that,
maybe there's lack of masculinity then.
You know what the crazy thing about that, Colleen?
The same thing. That's the same line of mentality saying we're all affected by slavery.
Yeah, it is. But the only difference is the men decided to improve. That's why there are more married black men than black women. I mean, there are 583,000 more married black men than women.
Well, maybe, you know what? I think that men need to also take into consideration that we have to wait for you to ask the question. So it's really easy for men to get married. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's not.
To ask.
It's not really easy for men to get married because men aren't. Society today, when it comes to marriage, is set up for women. It is not easy for men to get married.
But don't you think it's just excuses? Men, hold on. The men are creating excuses. It's like, she's not feminine enough. She's not this. She's not that. And it's excuses. And that means that lack of masculinity. You know what? Because if you're a real man, you know how to talk to a woman and how to make her the way that you want her to be.
And you damn sure
listening to you, you don't have that masculine energy. That's what it is.
And you damn sure know how to stay around after the baby comes.
And if you're a real man, then you're going to stay around and the woman is going to listen.
Are you done? Are you done?
Okay.
Yeah, 80% of divorces. 80% of divorces in the United States are filed by women. The women leave, the men don't.
Well, yeah, but the men don't marry first. You don't marry them first in the black community.
Say again?
You don't marry them much in the black community, at least. You don't marry them first. They might file the divorce papers first. I'm not saying that's right, but you don't even marry them, at least in the black community, since 75% of our mothers have babies out of wedlock.
Are you done?
One more time. Yes. So 38% of black men are married and 86% of black men are married to black women. The numbers don't support your argument.
Oh, yes, it does. Reality supports the argument.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's how I feel about that. So once again, facts, data, and statistic runs against emotions. I love it, you guys. To the point in which you guys actually made me drop in, and that being said, it is always a pleasure.
Black Chad, and we'll continue the conversation. This is a totally different topic, so we have run out of time. We certainly have, and definitely it was a great topic, and we'll come back and revisit it next time in the future or sometime in the future. All right, so this brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for watching. Continue the conversation by checking us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and subscribe. That way you get up-to-the-minute content when we post, and we appreciate the support. We are an independent media, and each time you subscribe, it helps to make our voice that much stronger. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.